welcome to my Minority Matter midday show. Real quick, they have a feed coming in here from the press secretary, Karoline Leavitt. Here we go. We're going to go live from the White
Good
House.
afternoon, everybody. Did everyone have a good weekend? Good. It's good to see you back here. We have another busy week. On a scheduling note, tomorrow, President Trump will travel to the great state of Florida to attend the opening of a new illegal alien detention center located at Dade Collier Training and Transition Airport alongside Secretary Kristi Noem, Governor Ron DeSantis, Congressman Byron Donalds, and other state and local leaders. We hope to see many of you there. The facility is in the heart of the Everglades and will be informally known as Alligator Alcatraz. There is only one road leading in, and the only way out is a one-way flight. It is isolated and surrounded by dangerous wildlife and unforgiving terrain. The facility will have up to 5,000 beds to house, process, and deport criminal illegal aliens. This is an efficient and low-cost way to help carry out the largest mass deportation campaign in American history. We are truly coming off a historic week of President Trump racking up win after win on behalf of the American people. President Trump restored peace through strength and acted decisively as commander-in-chief to obliterate the immediate threat of the Iranian regime's nuclear capabilities and then brokered a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, which continues to hold. Then, the president traveled to the Netherlands and achieved a monumental win for the United States and the NATO alliance by getting our allies to dedicate 5% of their GDPs to military spending. As a result of President Trump unleashing American energy dominance, summer gas prices are at the lowest they have been in 4 years, heading into the July 4th week. And with the incoming Trump economic boom, the stock market continues to roar back, with the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ both hitting record highs. And on this point of an economic boom, I bring to you original correspondence from the President of the United States to our Fed Chair, Jerome Powell. As the President has consistently stated, the American economy is booming. And there were so many economic analysts who said that this president's policies would drive our economy down, when in fact we have seen the opposite. We've seen a massive deregulation campaign take place. We've seen inflation completely diminished from where it was under the reckless spending and the bad policies of the previous incompetent administration. I would remind the Fed chair, and I would remind the entire world, that this is a president who was a businessman first, and he knows what he is doing. He has a proven economic formula that worked in his first term as president, and it is working again. The one problem that remains is high interest rates for the American people. The American people want to borrow money cheaply, and they should be able to do that. But unfortunately, we have interest rates that are still too high. So the president sent this note to the Fed chair today. And if you look at this chart, this is a chart of all of the interest rates of many countries throughout the world. At the top is Switzerland. They're only paying a quarter for interest rates. Cambodia, Japan, Denmark, Thailand, Botswana, Barbados, Taiwan, Bulgaria, Cuba, Sweden, Morocco, Cabo Verde, South Korea, Algeria, Canada, Albania, Libya, Malaysia, China, New Zealand, Trinidad and Tobago, Czechia, Bolivia, Australia, Costa Rica, the Bahamas, Kuwait, Papua New Guinea, Bosnia, United Kingdom, and the UAE are all paying lower interest rates than the United States of America, which has one of the hottest and strongest economies in the world. The president sent this note to the Fed chair. It says, Jerome, you are as usual too late. You have cost the USA a fortune and continue to do so. You should lower the rate by a lot. Hundreds of billions of dollars are being lost, and there is no inflation. And the president is right. There is historically low inflation thanks to his policies. And we will continue to drive down the cost of living in this country for Americans. We will continue to deregulate. And it's also incredibly important that we pass this one big, beautiful bill, which is the largest tax cuts in American history. And that's why the White House and the president himself have been in touch with lawmakers all weekend long to get this bill passed. And they are working very hard to expose the clear differences between Republicans and Democrats in 2025. The Democrats are doubling the brick of our country. Just look at the Democrat nominee for New York City Mayor, Zohran Mamdani. He's a Democrat socialist, really a communist, who proudly calls to defund the police. peddles anti Semitism, praises pro Hamas groups, wants Israel abolished, and believes wealthy Americans should not exist. Those are his words, just as recent as this weekend. Meanwhile, under President Trump's leadership, Republicans are fighting tirelessly for everyday middle class working Americans who reelected this president. And we're carrying out a revolution of common sense. And all of that is packed into this one big, beautiful bill. It delivers the largest middle and working class tax cuts in U.S. history. It keeps America safe by funding the It's enough to reverse the Biden border invasion. And every single Democrat is against that, against securing our border and deporting millions of illegal aliens. The One Big Beautiful Bill also strengthens and protects Medicaid benefits, despite what Democrats are saying, for eligible American citizens who rely on it, like pregnant women, children, seniors, and people with disabilities, by eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse that threaten to destroy this program that was intended for the most vulnerable in our society. And every single Democrat in Congress is against rooting out that waste, fraud, and abuse and blocking the 1.4 million illegal aliens who are currently improperly receiving these benefits that should be going to American tax-paying citizens. The Democrats in Congress are more concerned with defending illegal aliens than they are hardworking Americans. And the Big Beautiful Bill also revitalizes our military and enhances our defense capabilities, protects our country from emerging new threats by funding a cutting-edge missile defense system called the Golden Dome. And as we all know, the One Big Beautiful Bill makes the Trump tax cuts permanent. The White House and the president are adamant that this bill is passed and that this bill makes its way to his desk. Republicans need to stay tough and unified during the home stretch, and we are counting on them to get the job done. So with that, we will take up questions. John Fredericks is in our new media seat today. John, thanks for being here. We'll kick it to you.
Thank you, Karoline. Let's get to the One Big Beautiful Bill first. It appears now you're going to get at least 50 votes in the Senate. There'll be some amendments. What is the president's confidence level in getting 218 votes in the House by the end of this week in order for him to sign it on Friday?
Well, look, we are very well aware, the president is very well aware that this bill needs to not only pass out of the Senate, but it needs to go back to the House. And we need the full weight of the Republican conference to get behind this bill. And we expect them to, and we are confident that they will. The president has been working hand in hand with Senate Majority Leader Thune and also our House Republican leader, or the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, both of whom will be at the White House today to meet with the president yet again. I believe they were here this morning, actually.
I have one follow-up.
Sure.
You outlined Jerome Powell and the note that the president just sent to him. There are many who believe that Powell has been politicized in a lot of different ways. The president has not been shy about acting on things that he believes in. Why not just fire Jerome Powell and put in somebody that is going to lower rates? Why wait?
Well, it's a good question, and one you can ask the president because that's a decision for him to make. But you're right to point out the politicization of the Fed. And it's very unfortunate for our country. But Jerome Powell cut rates numerous times ahead of the election when Joe Biden was in this Oval Office, but now he refuses to, and the economy is in a much better place. So there really isn't a good explanation for that, and the president is rightfully calling attention to it. Kelly.
Good afternoon. On Iran, the president posted on his social that he is not even talking to them anymore. When we were at NATO, he said he expected the U.S. and Iran to have talks as early as this week and that he might even want to see a written agreement. What is the update now if he's saying he's not even talking?
So as I told you from the podium last week, I said the administration and namely our special envoy, Steve Witkoff, has been in communication both directly and indirectly with the Iranians. That communication continues. The president himself has not talked to Iran, which he pointed out in his truth statement. Peter.
Thank you, Caroline. Does President Trump want Zohran Mamdani deported?
I haven't heard him say that. I haven't heard him call for that. But certainly he does not want this individual to be elected. I was just speaking to him about it and his radical policies that will completely crush New York City, which is obviously a city that the president holds near and dear to his heart.
There's this Congressman Andy Ogles. He wants the Attorney General Bondi to explore denaturalization proceedings because he thinks Mamdani could have misrepresented or concealed material support for terrorism based on rap lyrics he wrote in 2017. Does President Trump think this is a worthwhile use of the Attorney General's time?
Well, I'll let the president speak to that. I have not seen those claims, but surely if they are true, it's something that should be investigated.
And could President Trump see himself? You said you just talked to him about this.
Mhm.
Could he see himself working with a mayor, Mamdani, somebody who on Meet the Press this weekend was given 3 chances to condemn the phrase globalize the intifada, but he couldn't?
Yeah, look, the president is always willing to work with everyone. He's working with Democrats across the country, Democrat governors, and he said he'll work with people on the far left. He works with Republicans. He works with people in the middle. He wants to do what's right for America, but surely someone who holds these values and is quite literally a communist and condemns every value that makes this country great: common sense, law and order, low taxes, working hard, and earning your keep in this country. He's against all of that. And I think the president would find it difficult to work with someone like that if he is elected. I'm sure you'll hear more from the president on that, but we'll have to see. Hopefully, the voters of New York City choose wisely. Sure.
Thanks, Caroline. The president on Friday said that he was hopeful of a Gaza deal within the next week. Can you give us an update on any progress towards that, and on any talks that the White House is having with Israel on that?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Well, I know that Mr. Dermer is in Washington this week to meet with senior officials here at the White House. I also know that this administration is in constant communication with Israeli leadership, and the president himself speaks frequently, as you know, to Prime Minister Netanyahu. But this has been a priority for the president since he took office, to end this brutal war in Gaza. It is because of this president that humanitarian aid is being brought into the region. It's heartbreaking to see the images that have come out from both Israel and Gaza throughout this war, and the president wants to see it end. He wants to save lives. And however, the main priority for the president also remains to bring all of the hostages home out of Gaza. As you know, his tireless effort has brought home many of the hostages, including all of the American hostages who were held there. So he wants to see both things happen, and we're continuing to work very hard to do those things. Sure.
Yeah, thanks, Caroline. What is the White House's response to Senator Tillis's criticism articulated from the Senate floor yesterday, in which he said passing the big, beautiful bill would betray President Trump's promise to protect Medicaid?
Well, he is just wrong. And the president and the vast majority of Republicans who are Medicaid, as I laid out for you, for those who truly deserve this program, Americans who physically cannot work. And what it does is it ensures that able-bodied Americans who can work 20 hours a week are actually doing so, and that will therefore strengthen and protect those benefits for Americans who need it, as well as cutting out the waste, fraud, and abuse, as well as getting 1.4 million illegal aliens off of the program. So all of those measures are actually going to protect it for those who need it. That's the president's position, and that's what this bill does, and that's why Republicans need to vote for it and get it to the president's desk.
That kind of criticism from a Republican senator, is that reason for concern for the passage of this?
No, it's not. We're confident this bill is going to be back at the White House by the 4th of July. Stephen.
Thank you, Caroline. 2 questions. On the New York mayoral race, does the president plan to make an endorsement? And secondly, to him keeping them high, but a new controversy erupted today. My colleague first reported that he's facing Chairman Jerome Powell is facing accusations of lying to Congress, which is a potential crime, about luxurious details of the Fed's $2.5 billion renovation project. Senator Loomis has called attention to this. Some experts want him to be investigated. Does the White House want these allegations investigated and found substantiated, punished?
I'll have to take a look at those allegations, and I will first question regarding the mayoral race. The president was asked that yesterday by Maria Bartiromo. He refused to give an endorsement, so you won't get one from me at this podium unless he wants me to do that. Philip, go ahead.
Oh,
sure. And then I can go to you.
Cool.
Thank you.
The president said that he's working on a temporary pause for immigration enforcement in certain industries. I'm wondering what you can tell us about how he's determining which industries are deserving of a pass. He mentioned farmers, but what about, say, construction workers? I mean, shouldn't there just be one standard here?
I don't have any more details details to read out for you, but what I can tell you is that the White House is working closely every day with the Department of Agriculture as well as the Department of Homeland Security when it comes to workforce enforcement, worksite enforcement. I'm sorry. And the president's focus and the focus of this administration is, of course, to remove public safety threats from the streets and to deport as many of the illegal criminals, especially the violent criminals that we know are still here because of the previous administration. So that's the main priority and the goal.
And then the president has already made cuts to the office of the Director of National Intelligence, but now Senator Tom Cotton has put forward a bill that would cut the office by another 60%. What's the president's reaction to that legislation? And is this something that he would support, those additional cuts?
I don't know if the president's even aware of that legislation, but I will get you a response if he is.
You mentioned the dangerous wildlife at the alligator Alcatraz. Is that a design feature? Why is the president going with this mega bill in such a precarious position in the Senate? And then also, can you talk about the CBO estimate that it would add about 11 million uninsured?
Well, look, when you have illegal murders and rapists and heinous criminals in a detention facility surrounded by alligators, yes, I do think that's a deterrent for them to try to escape. We do know that some of these illegal criminals have escaped from other detention facilities, like one in New Jersey, which I know was recently reported on. So, of course, we want to keep the American, we want to effectively detain them as best as we can. As for why the president is going, I think his trip to this detention facility actually underscores the need to pass the One Big Beautiful Bill because we need more detention facilities across the country. The last administration let in nearly 20 million illegal people from all over the world, and this administration is focused on arresting and detaining them. But in comparison to that 20 million illegal criminal population in our country, we only have 7,000 ICE agents in the interior who are doing this very important work. And so we obviously need more personnel, we need more resources, and that's why we need to pass the One Big Beautiful Bill.
On the CBOs.
Go ahead. Yes, in the pink.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you please share some details of China trade deal? Has the U.S. agreed to ease some export, technology export restrictions?
Sure. Well, the final language that was agreed upon in both Geneva and in London was signed just past week. We can get you that final text of the agreement. Go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline.
Behind you.
Okay, thanks. Has the president got a short list of who he wants to see as Jay Powell's successor, and is he going to name a successor?
Look at the room full of reporters.
I won't get ahead of the president on any announcement.
What a big difference from Biden.
For the job?
Again, I won't get ahead of the president.
You know, on
Look at
TikTok,
this.
real quick, he said yesterday he's got a buyer, but the question there is, does he have a seller?
And you got someone holding their hand
The
up.
Chinese government that they've authorized
Like-
the sale of TikTok to the U.S.
I like-
or to U.S. buyers.
What I can tell you, highest level, and they will continue. As you know, we have another 90-day extension, and it's just to continue to work out this deal and make sure that TikTok stays on for the American people. That's the president's main goal in this, while protecting their privacy and their security. Behind you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline.
Wow. Well coordinated.
In Gaza for 2 days and many posts. Who is blocking the deal? And one other thing, when he posted on Netanyahu's trial, also he said it interferes with the negotiations on Iran and on Gaza. What did he mean by that?
I'm sorry, to your second question.
When he posted about the Israeli Prime Minister trial, he
Yes.
said it interferes with the negotiations on Gaza and on Iran. What did he mean by that?
It interferes because it physically and logistically was interfering. The prime minister was slated to go to court last week when he's in the middle of negotiating a peace deal and bringing hostages out of a war-torn region. And so the president was simply, I think, emphasizing his empathy that he has for Bibi Netanyahu and seeing him go what he's going through with his own judicial system in the state of Israel. Clearly, the president knows that very well. He too was a victim of a judicial system that was trying to put him in jail, as you all know. You all covered it, but President Trump prevailed. That's why he's back in the Oval Office, and he believes that Bibi Netanyahu is a great leader for the people of Israel. The president just worked with him closely to end that 12-day war and to obliterate Iran's nuclear facility, to take out that imminent threat, not just to the state of Israel, but also to the United Go ahead.
Caroline, that would limit Medicaid expansion under the Affordable Care Act. Does the president want that amendment to pass?
The president wants this bill to pass. Mary.
Hey, thanks, Caroline. On trade, we have this looming July 9th deadline coming up. We heard the Treasury Secretary say that he expects to wrap up these trade deals by Labor Day, but when President Trump was asked yesterday about any extensions by July 9th, he said, I think that would be necessary. So is the president ruling out any extensions on trade for any nations, even if they're negotiating in good faith?
Well, you heard from him directly. He said he did not think that it would be necessary. He is going to set the rates for many of these countries if they don't come to the table to negotiate in good faith. And he is meeting with his trade team this week to do that. Mary.
Thanks, Caroline. I just watched a CNN segment on a new app called Ice Block, and it kind of appeared to be promoting this app where you can tell people where ICE agents are. Given the recent rise,
An app that tells people where ICE agents are?
yes, and given the rise, I believe 500% increase in assaults on ICE agents, I wanted to see if you could comment on that and why CNN would be promoting such an app.
Well, it's a very good question. I'll have to go back and watch the clip myself, but surely it sounds like this would be an incitement of further violence against our ICE officers. As you know, as you stated, there's been a 500% increase in violence against ICE agents, law enforcement officers across the country who are just simply trying to do their jobs and remove public safety threats from our communities. And that's something we as Americans, including journalists at CNN who live in many of these cities where illegal aliens are hiding and were let in from the previous administration, should be very grateful for. So we haven't seen the clip. We'll take a look at it, but certainly it's unacceptable that a major network would promote such an app that is encouraging violence against law enforcement officers who are trying to keep our country safe.
Caroline,
Shelby.
I just wanted to get a clarification on the Senator Rick Scott's amendment. It sounds like the president is agnostic about whether it's attached. Is that accurate?
Look, I'm not going to get into the details of the discussions that are ongoing right now, but the president wants these senators to come to a conclusion, to get this bill back to the White House as soon as possible and make sure that it's a piece of legislation that can make its way back through the House as well. So obviously there's some ping-ponging between both sides of Capitol Hill right now, but that's why Senator Thune and Speaker Johnson are working with the president in lockstep every step of the way. In the back, News Nation, go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline. The president did
and then in
announce.
front of you,
Oh,
yes.
in front of. The
Sure,
president
I'll take
did.
both of you.
The president did announce last week that the trade deal with India is closed, and this could happen anytime soon. Are there any roadblocks as of now? Are there any updates on that? And how does the president see this about China's role or its influence in the Indo-Pacific region?
Sure, yes. The president said that last week, and it remains true. I actually just spoke to our Secretary of Commerce about it. He was in the Oval Office with the president. They are finalizing these agreements, and you'll hear from the president and his team, his trade team, very soon when it comes to India.
On China? How do we counter China on that front?
Yes, I mean, look, India remains a very strategic ally in the Asia Pacific. And the president has a very good relationship with Prime Minister Modi, as you know, and he will continue to have that. Go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. On the reconciliation bill, Senator Tillis from the floor yesterday seemed to suggest President Trump was getting bad counsel on the effects of the bill. Is President Trump aware of the analyses, and there are several of these, that suggest if rural hospitals potentially close, if there are Medicaid patients in the millions that become ineligible for that?
Yes, and that claim is just simply untrue. Rural hospitals comprise 7% of all hospital spending on Medicaid, and that illustrates that they have not benefited from the massive strengthens Medicaid. It will protect those benefits that hardworking Americans need, and that's why the president wants this bill to pass. The senator was wrong. The president put out a Truth Social post addressing it, and then the senator announced he's no longer running for office anymore. So I think that case has been closed, and the White House is continuing to focus on getting this legislation to the president's desk for his signature. Go ahead. Yes, you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Well, you and then you. There's confusion here.
Question on Syria.
Go
Has
ahead.
the Syrian government get back to you that they are ready to join the Abraham Accord? Is there any discussion with the Syrian and Israeli government for having security agreement? Is the first question. And the second question, what's the end goal for talking with the Iranian? Is that only focused on the nuclear program, or they are willing to speak about the other issues like the proxy groups and ballistic missiles or even trade with Iran?
So, as for discussions between Syria and Israel, you'll have to reach out to those respective governments. I can't comment on that. But what I can tell you is that this afternoon, the president will be signing an executive order to terminate the United States sanctions program on Syria. And this is in an effort to promote and support the country's path to stability and peace. The order will remove sanctions on Syria while maintaining sanctions on the former President Assad, his associates, human rights abusers, drug traffickers, persons linked to chemical weapons activities, ISIS and their affiliates, and Iranian proxies. And this is, again, an action that the president promised and shocked the world with in Saudi Arabia because he's committed to supporting a Syria that is stable, unified, and at peace with itself and its neighbors. The president met with Syria's new president when we were in the Middle East, as you know. And so this is another promise made and promise kept by this president to promote peace and stability in the region. Go
Thank
ahead,
you,
Alice.
Caroline.
Sure.
Questions on two topics, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Alice Howe with NTV here. First on Canada. Canada says it's now dropping its digital services tax on American tech companies days after President Trump says he's halting all trade talks with Canada. First, what's the president's reaction to this? Can you tell us more about his call with Prime Minister Carney over the weekend? How did he get Carney to drop it? And also, what's the impact on American tech companies given this latest progress as the president says he has been fighting for American tech companies?
It's very simple. Prime Minister Carney in Canada caved to President Trump in the United States of America. And President Trump knows how to negotiate, and he knows that he is governing the best country and the best economy in this world, on this planet. And every country on the planet needs to have good trade relationships with the United States. And it was a mistake for Canada to vow to implement that tax that would have hurt our tech companies here in the United States. The president made his position quite clear to the prime minister, and the prime minister called the president last night to let the president know that he would be dropping that tax, which is a big victory for our tech companies and our American workers here at home.
And on Harvard, if you don't mind, the administration today formally accused Harvard of violating civil rights laws by not doing enough to fight anti-Semitism. We know that the president has talked to us before about Harvard potentially having to deal with administration in the coming days. Do you have an updated timeline for that? How's the negotiations going? And is more pressure needed for Harvard to take fighting anti-Semitism seriously?
Well, there was quite a direct letter that was sent to Harvard this morning, as you know. The negotiations are taking place behind closed doors, so I won't comment on that. But what I will share with all of you, for those who haven't seen it, is the context of this letter, because I think it's very important. And this comes from the Department of Health and Human Services, which concluded after a thorough investigation that Harvard University is in a violent violation of Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, which prohibits discrimination on the basis of race, color, and national origin. And if you read some of the content of the investigation and what they found, the majority of Jewish students reportedly experienced negative bias or discrimination on their campus, while a quarter of Jewish students at Harvard felt physically unsafe. Jewish and Israeli students were assaulted and spit on. They hid their kippahs for fear of being harassed and concealed their Jewish identity from classmates for fear of ostracization. Images were widely circulated amongst the Harvard community that trafficked in obvious anti-Semitic tropes, including one that showed a dollar sign inside of a Star of David, and the campus was vandalized with anti-Semitic stickers, including one that showed the Israeli flag with a swastika. The Harvard campus was racked by demonstrations, as you all know, violent protests that violated the university's rules of conduct. The demonstrations called for genocide and murder, denied Jewish and Israeli students access to campus spaces. These are all facts that Harvard cannot dispute, and that's why the administration has found them in violation of Title VI and has threatened to withhold their federal funding, because if you break federal law, you should not be receiving federal tax dollars. And so I rest my case on Harvard. Andrea.
Yeah, so President Macron of France earlier today said that tariffs levied by powerful countries are often a form of blackmail, and criticized the sort of process that's underway. Didn't mention the United States specifically, but said that these tariffs are really hurting developing countries. So there's this big UN conference going on. What do you say to that? What is the president, was he aware of that comment, and did he have any response?
I think the president and the White House would certainly reject that characterization by Prime Minister Macron. Tariffs are an effective use of presidential power to bring back the middle class, to bring back our manufacturing industry, which was the backbone of our American economy and has been hollowed out by globalist politicians who have caved to foreign countries instead of doing what's right for American workers. That's why the president is effectively utilizing his authority to wage tariffs and to utilize tariffs, and continues to be in discussions and negotiations on trade to do what's right for America. And Europe and the rest of the world might not be used to that, but President Trump is back in town, and he's going to do what's right for our people and our country.
Follow up on Netanyahu. So there's a report in Israeli media that the prime minister will actually be here, that Netanyahu will be here today meeting with the president. Can you confirm that?
I don't believe Prime Minister Netanyahu is here today. I think you guys would know about that by now. Unless there's something going on I don't know about, but I don't believe he is. I do know he has expressed interest in coming to Washington and meeting with the president, and we are working on a date for that. I do not believe it is today, but that would be fun. You never know in this White House, let's be honest. Go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline. Does the president support this new measure in the big, beautiful bill that would impose steep new taxes on new wind and solar projects?
I believe you're referring to the credits for wind and solar projects. And
what talking about the new tax? There's a new tax that it's estimated would add 10 to 20% to the cost of any new wind and solar projects that start after this year.
Again, I don't want to comment on the specifics of provisions, but I'm sure the president will speak on that directly. Again, this is an ongoing process. The president continues to be very much engaged with the leadership in both the Senate and the House to get this bill back to his desk.
Did the president ask for that provision? Because the National Building Trades Union is saying that it's the equivalent of terminating more than 1,000 Keystone XL pipeline projects. Is that something that would concern him?
Well, the president spoke on this yesterday in his interview, and he said he understands that legislators want to protect jobs in their communities and in their districts. And so he understands why some of them are against this provision, but he also understands why people want the provision. So again, this is an ongoing deliberation and discussion, and the president is engaged in this very much. Go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline. We've been hearing from White House officials for weeks that you're close on trade deals with a number of countries. Can we get any update on which countries will have deals by the 9th and when there may be any announcements?
I'll let the president and the trade team speak on it.
Can you respond to the CBO estimate that the Senate bill would increase the deficit by nearly $3.3 trillion?
This is one of the most fiscally conservative pieces of legislation that has ever made its way through Capitol Hill. There's $2 trillion in mandatory savings in this bill. And not only that, the projected growth that this bill will bring to our economy. It will be an economic boom. The Council of Economic Advisors has an analysis that shows that the bill will generate $4.1 trillion in economic growth, and it will cut taxes, putting more money back into the American people's pockets. That's why this president wants this bill to pass. And I know he's busy working the phones and doing what he needs to do today to make it happen. So we'll see you all later. Thank you. We'll see you in Florida tomorrow.
All right, that was it. And pretty interesting. That's from the White House. Been an interesting day today. I mean, not too crazy. I'm only gonna be here for a little bit. This is not like a long show. It's gonna be like an hour show, and then I'll do something else this evening. Just wanted to check out a couple of things I saw. Since I have you here, let's check out this news here. A kid went overboard. A little girl fell overboard from Disney ship returning to Fort Lauderdale. Father jumped in to save her. You understand, that is super fucking dangerous. And thank goodness that Disney, the ship was able to slow down dramatically, and they were able to launch a rescue mission to retrieve the father and daughter from the ocean. You gotta understand, sharks love following these ships. They, for some reason, because like I guess they deposit some stuff into the water and the sharks like eat it up. But people that fall overboard, your chances of like living is very slim to like very, very slim. And they were saved from possible drowning or even a shark attack and so forth. And you remember, this is a 4-year-old girl, I believe, that went overboard, and the father jumped right in after her. And this is the story. I want to follow up on this, but I would like to hear what the father like has to say about this incident and him going overboard to save his daughter. Wow, what a fucking hero, right? Woo! That I want to know how the fuck that kid got over. I mean, there has to be video. There's video because these cruise ships they monitor everything and they see like they see everything pretty much. Okay, I would like to see how the hell this kid like got over and fell overboard. So let's listen into this news. I will bring you more about this story tonight. But for right now, let's listen in.
Child who fell off a Disney cruise ship while at sea.
That ship docked here in South Florida just moments ago. Our CBS News Miami's Morgan Viders live at Port Everglades with a video taken out at sea. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning, guys. Let's start with the good news that the father and the daughter were rescued safely from the water, and we have that rescue mission on video. Take a look at this. In this video provided by a TikTok passenger, it shows the moment that crews rescued a father and daughter in the open waters. The father is treading water and carrying his daughter in the video, and you can see the moment he
And he's
hands her
carrying
off
his
to the crew.
daughter.
A spokesperson for the cruise line told USA Today that the crew members' exceptional skills and prompt actions got the pair back safely to the ship within minutes. Passengers described the rescue mission, life preservers, and rescue boats launched within minutes.
They are
And in the
so
video, you can
lucky.
actually hear passengers cheering when the mission is complete. Passengers said the rescue happened while the cruise ship was between the Bahamas and Florida. Witnesses say the child reportedly fell from the deck on the 4th floor, but it's unclear at this hour
Oh,
how
that's a
that girl
miracle.
fell overboard when there are plexiglass safety barriers. Now, as the anchors just mentioned, the cruise ship has docked here this morning. The fence to the port just opened up within the last few minutes, so you can see cars and trucks are starting to come out right now. We will try and talk to passengers as they are leaving, potentially the family if they want to. We will be here and we will let you know if anyone has anything to say. For now, I'm live in Fort Lauderdale. Morgan Reiner, CBS News, Miami.
All right, I want to see if there's any more stories about this, and there is. So we're gonna we're gonna go to this one here.
Meanwhile, dramatic rescue at sea played out like a scene from a movie when a child fell overboard from a Disney Cruise Line ship. Her father jumped in after her. This morning, they are both safe and on dry land. CBS News Miami reporter Morgan
my
Reiner is live
God.
from Port Everglades, Fort Lauderdale. All right, Morgan, what happened?
Yeah, good morning, guys. So you can see the cruise ship is behind me, which means over the last few hours, we've had a chance to talk to the passengers as they've walked off of that cruise ship. And what they are describing is them having fun on a cruise ship. And then all of a sudden, everything comes to a stop. The music off, someone goes on the loudspeaker and says, Mr. Mob, which means man overboard. And that's when the witnesses said, all of the crew members jumped into action. They ran to the side of the ship. They started throwing life vests over for the dad and the daughter to grab onto. One witness told me that the dad was not able to reach one of those life vests because he was too busy worrying about holding on to his daughter. One witness told me that they were in the water for 20 minutes treading water. Think about treading water in a pool for 20 minutes when it's calm and there are no
20
waves.
minutes.
This was in the ocean and it really was incredible. Here's what some witnesses said happened.
Oh my.
I saw the mother crying, but when they rescued them, I think that's when the tears really started flowing.
Oh, I gotta
because you were
send this
just
to my
so
sister.
overjoyed knowing, and I
Hold
prayed to
on.
God to save them, and He did.
The ship was moving quickly.
Oh my
So
God.
quickly, it's crazy how quickly the people became little tiny
Let me get
dots in the
this.
sea, and then you lost sight of them. The captain slowed the ship, turned it around, and then they deployed a tender ship with people on there to go get them. and we saw them rescue the dad and daughter.
Just took everybody's breath away, to be honest with you. So very nerve-wracking, to say the least. But as a father, like I said, I would have done the same thing.
So you could tell that he was really struggling. And he, I mean, he'd been treading water for 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes with his daughter. And that was a big thing.
There's one video that really sticks out. It's when the daughter and the father are already on the boat and they're being lifted up to the cruise ship. And you can just see the relief in the dad's eyes. He's rubbing his eyes, clearly emotional, while he's holding on to his daughter's hands. You can't even imagine what was going through his mind.
Oh,
yeah, Morgan,
instant death.
And we just
It
showed
could have been
video of
instant
the
death.
rescue and the daughter and the dad on that rescue boat. She looks
Oh
like
my
she's
God,
10 years
20
old. I can't even
minutes.
really tell.
You know,
She looks
hands
pretty
off to
young.
the Disney crew.
How is she
Hands
doing?
off to them. They did exactly what they
So you
trained
mentioned
for.
10. There's some people that said 4, 6. So there's different guesses as to exactly how old that girl is. But long story short, she's young. She was
She's a
probably
young girl.
terrified. Physically, it looks like in the video they are okay. They're probably shaken up. You know, we did talk to a lot of the passengers as they were coming off of the ship, but I was told that the family probably got off the ship way before they let the public.
How the hell?
And finally, Morgan, how is Disney responding to this incident?
That's crazy.
We did get a statement from Disney. They said thanks to the quick actions by their crew who
No
are
shit.
trained to do exactly this, they were able to
That's what I just said.
rescue that father and the daughter, they said, within minutes. Now, some people are wondering if there are going to be any changes to safety protocols, but I think that the big question this morning, before they can even get to
What happened?
because right now we don't know how that girl fell off.
Oh
Witnesses
my
said it happened
God.
on the 4th floor deck, which does have plexiglass. So there are safety measures in place, and obviously their protocol to save someone
4th floor?
once they're in the water works really well. So we have
This
to
is a
figure out
miracle.
how it
This little girl survived
Yeah,
a
it's a good
plunge
question, but at
4
least they're
stories
okay.
high
Morgan Reiner for us
from a
CBS
Disney
News Miami.
ship.
Thank you, Morgan. Appreciate
And
it.
the father jumped in after her and survived also, and went and helped his daughter tread water for 20 minutes with no life vest. He was trying to reach out to hold on. He tried to reach out to grab one of the life vests, but he was more focusing on trying to save his daughter that he wasn't able to grab one. And it was such a rapid thing that like the crew, you know, hands off to the crew for at least attempting to throw, you know, they threw the life, like they threw the jackets, the life jackets, and also deployed a little was lifeboats, it's rescue boats, and with the crew members, they jumped in and rescued them. You don't understand, those are shark infested waters. First the impact of the dive into the water to survive that, okay, then not only once but twice, because the father jumps in and then he goes to rescue her. You gotta understand, you got the propellers from the boat that's pushing all the water, you know, a ways. So that's gonna push them a ways from the boat, like a faster current. And then by the time they deploy and they come to them, 20 minutes has passed and they're rescued. Wow. Wow. Lucky to be alive for sure. That interview with that father is going to be super tremendous. It's going to probably take a day or two because, you know, they just got back. So it may be tomorrow that interview might happen, or well, tomorrow's going to be Trump. So Trump is going to be landing at Alligator Alcatraz, which is going to be badass, and is going to prove that, you know, these planes can land there and take off at ease, and they're gonna open the center to process all these illegals that need to be deported back to their homes. And it's a great, perfect little airport. It's not going to interrupt Miami International. It's not going to interrupt Fort Lauderdale. It's not going to interrupt no airports around. They have their own airport to deport. That's the big thing. Now the Democrats are going crazy and sending out their protesters. They're like, all right, formulate next topic, Everglades, environment, get the environmentals here. It's like a Power Rangers, like they all get together. It's like, get your signs ready. You got your gears. We're gonna complain about the Everglades and how they're gonna destroy the environment, and make sure when we go over there, we're gonna go in a lot of numbers, okay? And when we get to the destination where alligator Alcatraz is gonna be at, well, guess what? We got to park on the grass. We got to park on the grass and roll our cars on the grass to save the environment. We're gonna park our vehicles in the grass, and some of these vehicles leak oil and fluids into the ground. Now you're poisoning the Everglades, and yet they want to scream about the environment. That's ain't that fucking hypocrite? Ain't that doesn't make any sense, right? Like you're for you want to protest about the environment, but you're destroying the environment. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. Make it make sense. Make it make sense, because it's not making sense to me that you're gonna gather all these. Because I used to live in Florida. I used to live in Miami, so I already know these fuckers and what they're up to. These people are paid actors, paid protesters. They are paid to be out there, and they're these professional protesters. And now they're gonna go after like the environment. We're gonna sue. We're gonna go to court, and we're gonna try to stop this. He's not gonna stop shit. You know why? Because this what the president says is what's gonna happen. You know, all this lower court shit is not working. It's already been ruled by it's already been ruled by Congress. Like you can't interfere with. You're not gonna interfere with Trump. Like he's the man. He's the president. You know, lower courts need to chill the fuck out. You know, because all these Democrats, they run to these lower courts and they're like, oh, put an injunction, put a stop, and put a stay, and all this, you know, do all this craziness. Like, no, that's it. That's over with. Can't do that. You know, you can't interfere with the business of the country. You're just a little court. You have what's your importance? A city, a small city. You know, like President Trump is in charge of the whole fucking country. Like these people are so ridiculous, man. They like their thinking is very small. Like they don't think like how I think. They just don't. But I hope you guys are having a good day, because mine's just okay. You know, I'm just here chilling. I wanted to watch the press conference, so I was like, fuck it, let me just do a quick little live. I didn't even have no intro music or anything, because I was going live. And this is probably the first time I've done that in a long time without intro song. So I just went to countdown and then straight to the White House. But this world is crazy, man. It's crazy. Like what happened yesterday with the fucking 2 firefighters from Idaho that got shot and killed, like during an ambush, because they had they called in a fire and there was smoke, and yeah, there was a fire. So the fighters were going up to fight the fire, and they got ambushed and they got killed, killing 2, injuring 1, I believe. And you know, great story about that is the was killed. You know, he was dead. So they were able to get his body and before like the fire was to get him. They got him and they moved him out of there. Took a lot of the evidence real quick, and yeah, and this is a weird fucking story. There's more to it. There has to be more to it. Like, why would you like ambush firefighters? Like, that's help me make sense. Help me make it make sense because I'm fucking confused. I am. It's Monday. Okay, fuck. It's Monday, and we're getting the review of what happened over the weekend here on Mondays, and this is one.
Breaking news, police in Idaho have identified the sniper they say intentionally started a brush fire and ambushed firefighters. Police say the shooter killed 2 firefighters and injured another near Coeur d'Alene. Let's get right to ABC's Alex Stone in Coeur d'Alene for more. Hi, Alex. What's the latest?
Hey there, Diane. Over the last couple of minutes, a lot of firefighters have been coming in to finally get back to fighting the wildfire after they had to pull out yesterday. Crime scene investigators coming in as well, as they are now coming up into this area, right up this road where the trailhead is down there. As you mentioned, we have now ID'd the suspect. Our sources are saying it is a Wes Rowley was his name, now dead, found dead after cell phone signals they noticed were not moving. And they really honed in on that area and then found Wes Rowley dead in these woods.
You see,
here.
they
Now, if he
track
killed
your
himself, he was killed by a
phones.
police
This is
bullet.
a mission.
They don't know. We know the ATF is working
a
to
mission.
trace the one weapon he had. They are searching the woods today.
He had a
to
phone
figure
on
out if
him,
there are
and they
any more
tracked it,
weapons that he
and they
had
knew
in these
it was
woods.
him.
They haven't found any yet. They know of the one, but Wes Rowley being the
Your
suspect.
phone.
Diane.
I tell you, they know where you're at all times, man. This just proved to me. This is proving to you. Oh my god, this video is very important. Oh, I'm glad I'm recording it on my show. Oh goodness gracious, that's very important. I tell people pay attention to everything. Listen to the news. Listen to the energy. Listen to what they're saying. They use the cell phones to monitor the movement of people. So that means they're using GPS tracked on your phones, and they know every movement by your phone. Okay, so like they knew this one person had the phone and it's not moving. They come to the conclusion that was the shooter, and I guess that's what fucked him over, because he could have got away with this. He could have gotten away with this, but his cell phone ratted on him. His cell phone ratted on him. He had a cell phone on himself, and they took him out. That is wild. How the technology that it is today. You gotta be careful with your phones. This little thing right here. This little thing. it's a personal tracking device. It follows you everywhere. It listens to all your conversations, everything you say and do. It's right here. No matter, even when it's off, it still listens. It's like nosy. It's like, hi, how you doing, Google? I say, hey, Google. Oh, don't turn on. I don't want it to turn on. Thank goodness it didn't turn on. But it's like this technology is very scary. How they can trace people, and they know who's who in this country by the people phones and movement with their phones. That's how they're catching a lot of these individuals, these illegals, because they have phones, they have phone plans, and when these agents are searching for these individuals, they already have court order to remove these individuals from the country, so they trace them through their phones. That's how they're able to find them so quick, and they do this raids, and they get you. It's you can't there's a point where you have this technology, right, and you can't part ways with it because it has you hooked, because your entertainment, your communications, your nosiness, it's always here. They people have been getting too used to their phones. They can't live without their phones. I'm sure if someone, let's say, if you were to leave your house and you forgot your phone, 9 out of 10, you would turn back to pick up your phone. You would drive all the way back because it's happened to me. Like I remember when I was working as a plant operation manager down in South Florida. Um, my motherfucking phone, man, because I need my phone for work because I get a lot of phone calls. I deal with a lot of people. Um, and I left my phone at the house, and I had to fucking drive back. I was like, fuck. Then I drive back home, get my phone, and then drive back to work. Ridiculous, man. And another time when I left my work keys at home, it happened to me one time. I don't know if I was tired or what. I wasn't paying attention, and I forgot my work keys. I was like, oh no. I had to drive back home and get my keys. It was, thank God I didn't live too far from the job. I was like, it was about 15 to 20 minute drive. It wasn't too bad. It was from Miramar, Florida to North Miami Beach. Like, oh man, I was so pissed, man. But I had many times that I went to the, like in the morning going to work. I would go to the gas station, fill up my car, and then I would purchase some scratch off tickets. I would purchase $5 scratch off tickets, and I won a couple of times. I'm not talking about win like $5, yeah, because I had a lot of those that you win your money back, or you win like $10 or $20. No, when I won $500, and I won $500 three times. Um, it was two of the tickets. I remember there were the Miami Dolphins scratch off tickets. I won two times $500, and then another game that I had played at another gas station. It was yeah, I forgot the name of the. I think it was a Shell. Was the Shell? I'm not. It was a Shell or BP. I think it was BP. It was a small gas station. Um, but I won. And then the other gas station was a Hess gas. Um, the Hess truck that they show every year. They always have every year. They come out with a toy to sell. The Hess truck is here. you know. Um, yeah, I won $500 on a scratch off there, and every time I won, I took the day off. I took the day off from work. I'll go back to the office and I'll be like, yeah, I think I'm gonna take the day off. And my boss is like, he looks, he's funny because I was like, look, I'm a plant operation manager. I run the fucking building. You know what I mean? So we had the building manager and the plant. I'm the plant operation manager. So I let the building manager know. I go, yo, I'm taking the day off, man. It's like I got to do some stuff, but I'll be back later I'll close up, and when I take the day off, I'll come back like at the end of the day, and then I will close up the building and do the checks, everything, check everything out before I of course I fucking punch in. I get paid for that. I get paid for the day anyways because it's under my my contract. Like even my days off, I get paid for. I would get paid for it, and I would go in and check all the AC units. You got to make sure there's no leaks or anything like that. There's certain areas in the building that I got to check the water tower, check everything. I'll go to the roof, check out the roof. Like, I used to chill on the roof. The roof is so cool. I used to love it up there. Like, I used to have my lunch up there. I used to go up there oh my God. Yeah, I used to eat lunch up there. It was just a perfect spot. It was like it was away from everybody. You're up on the top of the building, and you have like you're looking out in the distance, and it's like it's a beautiful sight up there. Like, the sunrise is so beautiful. Oh my God! Many times I've gone up there and seen the sunrise, and it's like, wow. It's like another beautiful day. Let's get to it. You know. Yep. But it was cool. It was cool, man. Cool times. They the the president of the building, right? He called me. He was like, "Yo," and this is like, I'm fucked up. I can't work. I can't. They physically, it's fucked. I'm fucked. That's why you always see me behind the desk. I'm here entertaining. You rarely see me out. Only when I went to like Niagara Falls that I really put myself to fucking walk, and it was great. I had a great time. The walk was beautiful, but my body acts up really bad, and there's times that my spine doesn't let me do a lot of shit that I want to do, and it sucks. But I want to get back to Niagara Falls, and I want to experience it again. I love it. The water is so magical. Like, I'm telling you, I'm gonna, like, for Moontang, because she wants some of that water, the rainfall water. So what I'm gonna do is Cave of the Winds. When you go to Cave of the Winds, which is on the American side of the falls, well, you do the tour. Well, no, it's a tour. You go in, you watch a presentation, and then after that, they take you down to the bottom of the falls, and then you walk through the cave, and then you walk out. They give you ponchos, and then, like, after that, you go through it's like a staircase type of thing. For me, that's the hardest part. That's so rigorous on my body, but like, I have to go slow. Like, and I've documented before on my show, but the signal was really bad because the energy is so strong by the waterfalls that you can't really record properly. So the next time I go, I'm not doing it live. I'm gonna record it and then put it up live. But I'm gonna grab that water from underneath the falls and somehow make it into like put into maybe like a nice little vase type of, like, I could seal it and close it, and then like shrink wrap it and send it to, or take it to personally, because I don't want them to fuck with it. So it's gonna be like on my carry-on bag. I'm gonna take some water. I would like to take her some water from Niagara Falls. That's like so fucking awesome. Like, I'm gonna take like the Gatorade bottles. I'm gonna make sure I wash them really good and rinse them out and dry them out. But I'm gonna take some Gatorade bottles, and I'm not gonna go alone. I'm not gonna go alone. I'm gonna go with a little group of people, and I'll have a little army, and everybody's gonna be holding a fucking bottle. And I was like, you're not leaving until you fill up this water. You're not leaving until you fill up the water. I need this water. So everybody's gonna have a bottle. Or maybe two bottles. It's like, oh man, Rick, you're too much. I know. But it's so beautiful. Oh my god. This time when I go, I'm gonna record it. I'm not gonna do it live. I'm gonna record it so you guys can see it uninterrupted, like it's gonna be like raw. It's gonna be like it's treacherous, it's dangerous. For me, it's like the accomplishment of doing that. It proves to me that I'm still capable, but I'm very, very fucking limited. It's like that's a challenge, and I have to go with people because the people have to stand in front and behind me in case I fucking fall. Like it's not easy. It's not easy. And I want to get that water. And not only that, man, when I stand underneath there and have that water hitting you, it makes you feel like a certain way. Like you feel better. You feel like energized. You feel happy. Like me, like I feel like what the natives were doing, like the Indians and stuff, and how they shared that land, and they were feeling the same experience that I'm feeling today. Like that's magical. The Canadian side, you don't really get much of a splash like water. Not like Cave of the Winds, you get fucking soaked. You come out like there's an area that's like a hurricane. It's like hurricane force winds and water. That water is very heavy, heavy. I'm gonna tell my fam, I was like, yo, fill these bottles up for me, please. Fill them up. I gotta take this water. It's like holy water. It's like Niagara Falls water. It's that energy. You're capturing that energy from the water falling, free falling into your bottle. Like it's like damn, Rick's gonna start selling. Rick's gonna start selling Niagara Falls water from the source. Little bottles at a time. Little bottles at a time. Um, but I say Gatorade bottles because the hole is much bigger than bottled water. The bottled water is like the hole is like very little. Look how little this little hole is. This you can't even see it. That's how little it is. You can't. I'll be there a fucking day. I'm gonna come out with hypothermia holding this bottle there because that water's fucking cold. That's not like oh it's warm water. You could just stand there like it's fucking all good. No, that shit's fucking cold. That's why I think my body feels good when it's under there because it cools my muscles, it cools my back, the metal feels a lot better. Like it feels like a massage with the water hitting you like on your back. You can feel it and it's literally like a massage on your back. And when you come out of it, like and you leave, you feel so much better. And it's worth it. It's worth the price. It's worth the the wait and going through the process. It's worth it. And that's like I feel like it's more like a baptism. Like if you were to say yeah, because that's the only part in Niagara Falls where you can be wet by the falls. There's no other way because I've been to the Canadian side, and the Canadian side, yeah, you wear your poncho and whatever, but you don't really get the mist. You get like mist from the waterfall. You do get mist, but you don't get drenched like you would in the American side, Cave of the Winds. I know, I know. I've done it, and it's not easy. It's not easy. It's hard. It's the biggest challenge. Like since my accident, yes, the biggest. Um, I'm slow as fuck going through it. Oh my god, I feel bad because I wait to for other people to go ahead of me before I try to manage to go up because I am so fucking slow with stairs. I'm slow with stairs, especially hazardous with with the water. I wear water shoes when I go, and I recommend anybody if they ever go there wear water shoes. Because you if you don't wear water shoes, one year I did it that I stupidly forgot my water shoes, and I said fuck it, I don't care, I don't want to miss the experience of the water. um and my shoes got fucking soaked. It got soaked. But water shoes, make sure you always bring a pair of water shoes if you're going to Niagara Falls, Cave of the Winds. Highly recommend it. You would thank me if you ever do go. You definitely thank me, because it's such an experience. The water is so, like I said, it's like a baptism. It is. It's so powerful. So powerful, that water. Oh, but I'm gonna get going here soon. I'm gonna say 5 more minutes, maybe 9 more minutes. I probably like. Let me see. I could be out of here at 45. It's 2:34 right now. So now it's 2:35. So I'll say 10 minutes. Got 10 minutes left, and then I'll wrap it up. Definitely, I'll be back on later on this evening to go over more news. What the hell? We're at the end of June, right? We're the last day of June, so the next show is gonna be probably called the last day of June. I'm gonna set it up that way, because it is the last day of June, and it's the last day of that Pride Month shit. But I just saw a news feed that two people got shot up in New York. Let's take a look on that. Like, two people got shot up in New York.
We're learning this morning police continue to look for the person who shot two teens in the West Village. It happened near the Stonewall Inn right as the Pride March celebration was coming to an end. We want to check in now with Fox 5 New York's Robert Moses. He joins us live this morning in the West Village with the latest details.
They weren't too
Robert,
happy.
good morning.
Gina, good morning to you. Yes, gunfire punctuated what should have been a joyous night just steps away from the Stonewall Inn, which, of course, is the birthplace of the modern gay rights movement. And this morning, you can still see some evidence markers sitting on the street as well as the sidewalk outside of this supermarket. Mayor Eric Adams called the shooting last night devastating. The shots rang out at about 10:15 in Sheridan Square, with crowds still milling around following the day's Pride festivities. Police say a 16-year-old girl was shot in the head and is in critical condition at Bellevue Hospital. Another teenage girl who is 17 was shot in the left leg, taken to Northwell Greenwich Village Hospital. She is stable. Authorities recovered a gun at the scene. Police are still trying to determine a motive. We don't know if this was an argument or a robbery or perhaps something else was at work here. We spoke to a woman named Vivian who says that she was taking her grandparents to the grocery store when this happened.
As a New Yorker, unfortunately, you feel kind of numb to these shootings because they happen all the time.
Oh, damn.
And that's a terrible thing to happen. I feel very sorry for the ones that had to go through this.
Wow.
The mayor posted on X that the NYPD will work quickly and tirelessly to bring the suspects to justice. According to the most recent crime statistics available, this precinct, the 6th precinct where this happened, has been fairly safe. There had been no shootings reported in this precinct this year as of June 22nd. Of course, that changed last night, this being a very high-profile area. And on a very high-profile day, no doubt the NYPD will be dedicating many resources to solving this crime. in the
Wow.
West Village
They
this
gotta
morning.
wait. Well,
Gina, back to you.
they're not gonna
All
get
right,
away
Fox
far
5 New
because
York's
they're gonna
Robert
go
Moses.
through
Thank you
video.
so much for joining us.
They're gonna go through video footage and they'll trace them down. They'll know, you know, they have cameras. They have a lot of cameras in New York. That's one thing about New York. Um, when cases like this, they'll figure out like if they ran from the scene or if they got into a car. They'll trace cell phone. If the person has a cell phone, then they could see how, like, if the person was running away from there and if they got in a car and took off and how fast that car was going. Like, technology, like AI is going to be so good that it's going to be great for crime fighting. That's how good AI is going to get in the future, that you're not going to be able to commit a crime and get away with it with AI, because they'll be able to solve cases faster and review video faster and go through the system faster than any police officer or detective. AI is the future of police, for policing and for reviewing all individuals. Everybody has a cell phone nowadays. Everyone, kids, like grown-ups, adults, even your grandparents have cell phones too. And everybody, majority has smartphones, because what they do is that's how they lure you in. They like, oh, we'll give you a free that's not free. We'll give it to you free now, but you have to commit to a 24 months at $50 a month. That's not free, but you're paying a plan, but you're getting the brand new phone right now. So that's the catch. It's like you're getting the phone right now, but you have to pay in installments, and it's not really free, but you're paying only 24 months at $50 a month with your phone line, and with all whatever taxes and stuff that's going to be, and then they'll tell you your monthly bill, and then yeah, that's how they get you. They get you committed to a contract. So once you're in that, and there's a contract that you break, you could break the contract, but then you have to pay full price for the phone. So if you commit the whole 2 years and you don't break the contract, it's really good on your credit too. And not only that, but on the company too, because they build more trust with you. So like it's easier to get credit cards and stuff, and like you have to establish trust. That's what credit cards is basically what it is. It's like we will trust you that we'll lend you the money, but you got to pay me back and pay back with some interest. But as long as you pay back, we're cool. So that's how they're supposed to be. But people take advantage and they spend all that money and never pay back, and then their credit is like garbage, and they wonder why their life is just all fucked up because fucked up decisions. Just keep up with your credit, pay your monthly, even if it's a minimum, just pay. And if you need a credit, you need help with understanding credit, here, I could talk to you. Just go to my Discord and my mind over your matter. That's the Discord name, the channel. And I can help with your credit. You can talk through it, because it's very important. Your credit is very, very important, and it has to be monitored. You have to be on top of it. Can't just let it be like faith. Like, let's just let it be. Not check it at all. That's the biggest mistake you can do. You gotta know what's up. Like, who's talking shit about you and behind your back. It's like which of these companies is gonna. And if you're doing good, and you get a good score. You're a good citizen. It's a credit score, but it's how trustworthy are you to pay back and be responsible. That's the trick. And like Trump, You see how rich he is and so full of money and this and that, and the trust that they have with him when he borrows money from banks and he pays back. But New York tried to get him on that and say that he harmed New York and this and that. And Letitia James, she thinks in her mind that she won that case, but in reality, they're not. She's not going to win that case. And actually, they have not even overturned that case yet. So we're still waiting on that. The Supreme, like their little court system in New York is garbage. So hopefully soon they'll drop that case. And Letitia James, I'm waiting for her ass to be like stripped of her title and have to defend herself rigorously at court in a Virginia court, not New York, Virginia. Oh man, she's screwed. She is so screwed. But she thinks she's the man. I mean, she's more like Grimace. But I'm gonna wrap it up for now. Thank you for watching. Truly appreciate it. I'll be back on later this evening, and we'll go over some more news. I'll have some set up for us to watch and for us to talk about. I'm really I'm really interested in the that little girl going overboard and her father jumping in to save it, like to save his daughter. Oh my god. First, I want to know the age of the child. I want to know the age, and then the age of the father too. And I want to hear the interview with the father. Like I'm like, holy shit, and he's alive. Like they're alive. They survived 20 minutes, with no life jacket, no nothing. Like he was holding his daughter up, like floating and holding onto her and trying to calm her and his heart must be racing and he's trying to stay up afloat and 20 minutes. That's wild. That's just so wild. Because I put myself in that position. Imagine you're the little kid, you're the little girl, right? And you fall into the ocean 4 stories high and you survive the fall. Okay? You think it's easy to fall 4 stories into the ocean? Would you want to try that? Because I the fuck don't. Hell the fuck no. I'll be dead if I fucking fall. Especially my injury with my neck the way it is. Fuck that. That's instant kill. That's like that's like yeah, no. No. I'm not treading fucking waters for no fucking 20 minutes for people to come and rescue me. And the chances of the sharks coming and taking you is so high. Between Bahamas and Florida, that's like shark like avenue. That's like that's where all those fucking like sharks are. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh. Well, let me wrap it up. Thank you for watching. I'll be back later. I don't know exactly the time. Maybe 8, maybe 7, 8 or 7, maybe 7, 8. I don't know which way I'm gonna go because it depends how I'm feeling later. I'm hoping I'll feel good enough to come on at 7 and get a good 2-3 hour show in for tonight. And we're gonna go through a lot of news, maybe some alligator Alcatraz news. You know, President Trump is going to visit Alcatraz, alligator Alcatraz tomorrow. So I may go live to intercept Trump landing at alligator Alcatraz and having the full setup of him coming down the plane to taking a tour at the facility that was built in record time. They worked all 24 hours nonstop, a whole operation. Like this place is like, I can't wait for tomorrow. And maybe if they have a video of what it looks like for today, like helicopter views, I'll see if I could bring that up and then show it to you later on this evening. So with that said, have a good day, good morning, and a good night wherever you're at. And I'll catch you on the flip side. And yeah, it's gonna be it's just wild. It's just everything's just. I'll see you later. Bye.